Welcome back, artists. Today I'm going to get tactical. So I'm going to dive in on the four boundary zones that you need to protect in order to grow and create without burning out and losing yourself to the noise. Let's hop into it. Firstly is internal boundaries. So this is regarding about your mental, emotional and energetic clarity. And this is your sense of self, vision and your intuition, right? So if you find yourself comparing and if you let your inner critic to overrule your creative vision that you already had in mind, then you know that internal boundaries need to be set. So here's a case study. There was a songwriter. He had a really strong vision about how this piece was going to go, and then he recruited several artists where he really looked up to. They had amazing portfolio. Each of them were pretty dominant in their own creative vision, right? So the songwriter, he wanted to spearhead this project, but he knew deep inside intuitively that there was lack in clarity, especially specifically in the objective of this project, and he didn't enforce that. In the end, the direction of the project kind of falls flat, and it might be perhaps the imposter syndrome that he had, assuming that those artists were really successful, so maybe I'm not worth enough to have a say in what I feel or how this was supposed to go in that particular direction. So those like doubt or people pleasing patterns or like comparison override the intuitive decision that he initially had. So the question that you can ask yourself for setting internal boundaries is, am I abandoning my voice to avoid discomfort, or am I afraid to speak up, and do I truly trust my vision, right? So second is external boundaries. So this is regarding about your communication and structure, and this is with others, so it's really crucial for collaboration. So back to the previous case study I was talking about. So like I mentioned, the creative vision and the leadership was pretty lacking, right? So in the end, the final output was not aligned with his initial end in mind, because there was no final say, there was no creative roles and those kind of structure. So project management is important, right? And if your internal boundaries are weak, it affects your external boundaries directly, right? So and these two combination, if both are lacking, it kind of creates creative derailment. I know it sounds like pretty fucking harsh word, but if if you're a high fly artist, and you know I mean, it does not matter whether you're a high fly, if you're a beginner artist, you're just human. You just need to have your own boundaries, all right? It's your fucking right. But you need to understand what is the consequences not setting boundaries, all right? Because it has a huge magnitude of impact if boundaries are not being set. So you truly need to understand, and it all starts from within yourself. So your intuition is a compass to where your boundaries need to be set. And here are the deeper aspects of personal boundaries beyond what I've mentioned earlier. So your eyes, what are you consuming daily? And your ears, so what are you listening, and who has access to your mind? You gotta observe those things as well. And your mouth, so what food do you consume, perhaps to just fill a void that to especially when you feel empty or disconnected. Sometimes this happens. This leads to addiction with substances, and well, I mean, the reason why I'm even doing this whole thing, because most of my idols are not here anymore, and Well, they were, they left due to substance addiction and suicide. So every single habit and addiction that you may have, it accumulates, and I hope you do love yourself enough to either stop or do not let that overwhelm you, please. All right, I don't want to cry here. Anyway, let's talk about sex. So if you are giving yourself away freely, you are draining your creative force, right? So you got to be mindful of who you're giving your energy to and how often, right? We are all adults, and I'm not here to judge, but yeah, just be mindful. And finally, is your mind. So are you ruminating in those limiting beliefs? Because this dims your authenticity. Okay, so the third boundary zone is called the process or creative overdrive. So this is when you push past your exhaustion. You're constantly in grinding mode. Like, I just need to create a piece, I just need to create one more draft, and despite the injuries, you just still push forward. And you're not giving rest for your vocal cords if you are in back-to-back gigs, or you're just creating a piece to a point where you can't even recognize it. And in this whole process, you neglect your self-care. And it's very common to, of course, be in this point, especially when your whole creative career, I mean, each of the work that you put out there, it's all comes from a place of passion, and this lights your soul on fire, right? But you always have to pause and see how is it affecting your health. Because I definitely have pushed past my exhaustion, and I've been in a hospital, and this constant act of over workaholic nature was always being praised as dedication, and this imbalance was being masked as productivity. So how you can gain clarity is you can create a time lock of the time you spent working, and how does this affect the relationship between yourself and your loved one, and especially your health. Okay, the final boundary zone is competition, which is social boundaries. So it's also a mix of the external boundaries which I spoke about earlier. Because healthy competition is important for you to push out of your comfort zone, and there's a lot of learning aspect to this. But it comes to a point where if you find yourself creating from a place of wanting to prove the others rather than a place of passion, then you're giving away your power to external factors. Your extrinsic motivation overpowers your intrinsic motivation, and this will eventually lead you to burnout and constant loop of imposter syndrome. Coming from me, I had chronic imposter syndrome throughout my whole life. And so strong artists are very rooted in their values, and it's not shaken by anything external, no matter what. It doesn't matter about the AI taking over art and all that bullshit. Your intuition lights up your uniqueness, and you should be proud of that. The thing is, only you know your pace, you know how much of work and dedication that you put into. Of course, through your evolution as an artist, there's always adaptability and innovation, but you truly know what makes you unique, and you should always stand by your truth. Because when you find yourself being misconstrued often, then you know that this area boundaries are needed to be set. And if you do encounter people stealing your identity, copying your brand presence, certain aspect of your creative work, your creative vision, saying that that it's been my idea the whole time, always just stay grounded in who you are and what you stand for, and be confident in your work, right? Because I truly understand where how it feels, and this even extends to my personal life, and it's honestly extremely suffocating. So it's always good for you to just have faith in yourself, and your authenticity cannot be emulated. All right, people will eventually smell the fakeness. So be calm and use the stillness in time to truly observe where it leads you. All right, so your emotions is the one that guides you to where boundaries need to be set. So what you can ask yourself overall is, anything that I've mentioned throughout this entire video that had triggered you or made you feel angry or scared, just the thought of you losing it, or not giving power away, then you know that those are the areas that boundaries needed to be set. Right. Thank you so much for being here. I really, really appreciate your time. I'm Shalz, transformational coach for creatives. So if you are dancer, singer, musician, or visual artist, other artists I'm also open to. So if you are experiencing reoccurring creative blocks, feeling overwhelmed, burnout, isolated, or especially navigating through identity shift, I wish I had some help, man, with this. So my mission is to help you to strengthen your intuition, embrace your beautiful vulnerability, so you can step forward with authenticity, confidence, strategy, and being ruthlessly ruthless in your values. Okay, so if anything that I shared with you in this whole video resonated with you, I created a self-guided toolkit which is called the Break Creative Stagnation Toolkit. This had helped me, so I've used this for myself to step out of my reoccurring blocks and also to keep myself grounded. So you get to really walk through your values, your boundaries, your limiting beliefs, your motivation, and how do you sustain it, right? Especially your how to use your intuitive decision. So this whole thing comes with two private coaching calls. That's more than 90 minutes. So you can discuss with me about your creative struggles, and we can map out an action plan together that's suitable for you, and something that you can hold and start on. Okay, so the details are in the description box below. You can go ahead and check it out. But if you don't want to waste any more time of your time, if you don't want to waste any more of your time, energy, and power to the creative resistance, well, then I got something else for you. You can join in my 30-day strengthening intuition workshop. It's an extension of the toolkit that I mentioned, but it's even more deeper. If you want to deepen your brand presence, your artistic identity, and really regain your creative momentum, then this would be the one for you. Right. So all the details are in the description box below, and my email is there as well. So if you want to ask any questions, you want to clarify anything, just ask away. All right. So again, thank you so much for being here. I really, really appreciate your time. And just remember that in this whole discovery time of identifying your boundaries, it's going to take time, okay? But no matter how long it takes, it could be days, it could be weeks, it could be months, it does not matter. Do not ever give up in yourself, because you may find yourself stumbling, and there's always ups and downs, right? But do not ever give up on yourself, and be kind to yourself. Okay, if no one have ever told you I love you so much, and this is an extreme form of self-love. Okay, boundaries. And do not ever mistaken that building boundaries is about building walls at the side, and I'm going to feel like very rigid. How am I going to feel more creative when I have all of these walls beside me? No, 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 hell no, man. That's not what it is. All right, okay. So it's about you being emotionally mature, and especially you giving away your energy in a more intentional manner, that so you don't burn out. Okay, you are a beautiful creative ball of fire, all right? So you need to shield it properly, all right? Because if you are not there, then what's the point of having all those goals and beautiful projects? Okay, all the visions that you have, you need to still protect yourself. Okay, and the only person that can do that is you. So yes, so take your time, create boundaries, and remember, do not ever justify to any motherfuckers in this world. All right, boundaries are not meant to be justified. So okay, I love you so much, I really do. Take care, and I'll see you in the next video. I'll be talking about limiting beliefs. All right, take care, bye.